Brian. I let you lose.
Tell me what happened, Jannelle. Go ahead.
So, Brian won for 5-second rule today. More importantly, I'm going to say as his friend and as a believer, first of all, that he's a winner for this week. And second of all, he answered a question about basketball. As soon as Ron said basketball, I was like, oh, that's it. He's going to get it wrong.
Right.
He got it right. And it was about some, like, what are the name? 3 fouls.
Like, or penalties.
Yeah.
Or penalties.
He did a great, great job. You like that, Brian? See how fair I am? How mature? Okay. Nathan says, good morning, family.
Nathan.
Brian, congratulations on your win. # Team Kelly.
Woo-hoo.
What's up, Mike? Mike says, good morning to everyone. Man, all of his congratulations to Brian. Nobody the only one that cheers for me is Rob. Now I see. I understand.
Wow.
I understand.
You gotta mute the thing. I can't.
Mute the thing. Mute the thing.
I can't.
There we go. I think we're getting there. Maybe.
Brian, whatever. You need to calm down. Brian.
What?
Do you want to join us? Do you want to work?
Wow.
I'm holding up a new sign.
You're still doing that?
A new sign, you know.
Do you remember we've had pastors on talking about there's a way to win, Brian?
No.
Deborah, it's not important. Deborah says, I can't read Brian's paper. It is not important at all. Callie, what's up? Callie says hi.
I don't know what it says, Jannelle.
It says Jannelle is annoying.
Exactly.
That's what the new sign says.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Brian.
I didn't know you felt that way, Kelly, but I'm glad you finally admitted it.
Oh, no.
Nathan says, Jannelle, you got next week. That's right, Nathan. I got next week.
People like.
Nathan, you're one of my favorites now. You are one of my favorites. Deborah says, can't see it, Brian. Deborah, it is not important. Not important. And let me see YouTube. I see YouTube. What's up? Tell your mama that we're on here. Yeah. Tell your friends. Tell your sister. Put it on your Facebook page so that people can join and subscribe. Brian, we want to hear from you.
What? What do you want to hear?
Okay. Why are we here? Why are we here, Brian? J and K, you can just close the lid on the laptop. That's right. That's what we need to do.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, we can.
Go ahead, Brian. Oh, my goodness.
What? What do you mean, go ahead? What does that mean?
So you're just going to sit there and just look beautiful today?
Oh.
I do look pretty good today. I appreciate you pointing that out.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, that actually was what I'm going to do. Today I'm just going to look good.
Just sit there? Okay.
Like every day.
All righty then. All right, we'll just sit here and wait.
Do you want me to talk about the topic? Is that what you're trying to say?
Nathan,
I think that's it. I think that's it, Brian.
Yes, Nathan. He said, sweet, I should be your favorite. I bring drinks into the studio.
Yeah,
yes, you are my favorite. And the drinks were hot. And you're a postal worker, which I want to say, it's really weird, but my little girl, she says the postal worker is her best friend. I think it's because she feels like he visits our house every day. And so she gets all excited, says hi. She doesn't realize it's his job. So we love postal workers at our house. Theola says, what'd you say?
I feel like you need to let Nia get out a little more.
Isn't that crazy? She's like, he's my best friend. Let me go run and say hi. That is kind of like, it does sound sad. Oh, goodness. Topic. People want to hear the topic.
All right. So here is the topic. Can
I say Theola says, according to today's standards, we're all winners.
Yeah.
What is that?
Thank you, Theola. Woo!
Actually,
wow.
I have a response for Theola. With all due respect, because I know with age comes wisdom and respect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Here's what I have for you.
You better
Theola.
watch yourself. Oh! Okay, so we're going to get to, okay, calm down. We're going to get to the topic. First, I want to say hello to Danielle. She says, good morning, my favorite people. You don't need to be inclusive. A favorite person is right here, Danielle. Calm down. And Rob, who is a fan of the Brian and Jannelle, he says, good morning. I think we underestimate Brian's brilliancy. He had the pastor discuss the importance of how we as Christians should behave after a loss. Then the 5-second game took place. It's all a setup to take away your sense to gain a win. That game has an asterisk. A penalty and a violation are not the same thing. Nonetheless, great way to add humor to the show. For the record, thank you. Your win had all kinds of issues today. Just so you know, people that actually know about basketball. Thank you.
The card literally
Hey,
said
Wow.
fouls or penalties.
Is that
Just
it says a penalty,
threw in.
a violation.
I know. That's the
Whatever,
card,
whatever.
though.
You got problems. So
That's
what's the
the
topic,
card.
Brian? What's up, Weens? Just tell the truth. You're on my team, Weens. Tell the truth.
What who called you Big Jannelle?
Oh, that's all right. We know what Big Jannelle means. It's like Big Mama. Actually, that's not good. That's not good. I know. It's like, whatever, Brian. Go.
Okay, Big Mama, you take it.
Oh! That's all right. All right, go.
All right, here we go. Oh, Gary's here. Finally, I got a friend. So, here's the scoop. Dr. Wendy Wang, Director of Research at the Institute for Family Studies, said that for every 1,000 marriages in the last year, only 14.9 ended in divorce. This comes from a newly released American Community Survey data conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau. In 1970, get this, 15 out of every 1,000 marriages ended in divorce, which means that fewer couples in the U.S. divorced in 2019 than in 1970. That is a huge statistic. And remarkably, the drop in the divorce rate is likely to continue in 2020, and there are indications this year that COVID has actually been good for marriage. Here's what I mean. For married couples ages 18 to 55 in 2019 who said their marriage was in trouble, that was 40%. So last year, before the pandemic, 40% of couples 18 to 55 were like, yeah, our marriage is in trouble. This year, in 2020, drops to 29%. It's a huge drop.
Huge
And
drop,
then people saying that their marriage is in trouble. And so what we have is we actually have some evidence indicating that COVID has been good for marriage, which is good news, but also a little bit of a head scratcher, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's weird. I
Yeah.
thought it would have been the complete opposite. Given the financial burdens, the unemployment,
Yeah.
just the stresses, mental health is up record high. So, yeah, that's just weird. How would you explain that connection, Brian? Mental health undoubtedly is higher than ever. And then you have this. Do you think there's
Well,
a
with-
connection or what?
With loss comes, struggle, anxiety, right? Like today when you lost the game.
When I lost after having won last week.
Do you want to
Yo!
talk about?
Yeah, I won last week. But yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, you of all people could help us better understand what it feels like to lose something.
Brian.
What?
Oh,
You need questions like 3 things in church. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, and then there was hymns last time, which was not in your favor.
Whatever.
It was not.
He should have known he's a Christian. He
I
grew
know.
up listening to hymns.
I know.
Thank you.
Well, Jannelle, help us understand loss. Go ahead.
Help us understand loss. I think what you're trying to say, I will be grown and I will earn my keep and I will actually talk about the topic. Excuse me. So, I think what you're saying is when there's loss and there's pressure and all that, we tend to cling to those who are important in our lives, and I think, push aside the pettiness and the things that are, comparatively speaking, not as important. I know there are real issues in marriage. I got some of those. But when we've seen, I'll give you an example. Like when my dad was sick and he was dying in our home, we didn't got time to argue about the kids. It didn't matter. Like when I saw the support that Len gave me in the middle of such loss, it was easier to overlook the things that annoyed me, or even the things that legitimately bothered me, because it was in my face. Grow up! We are in the middle of a show. on social media. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Do you see that? He doesn't learn the lesson about how to win gracefully. Look, I got proof. Can somebody take a screenshot and text it to our boss? Look, thank you.
Wow.
But it's easier to give the benefit of look at that. You look like my 10-year-old son. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is concerning. Somebody actually has you in a ministry. Wow. This is concerning. Callie says, well, many county buildings are closed due to pandemic. Oh, you heard that? We brought that up.
Yeah.
Many county buildings are closed, so unable to meet with their lawyers and such. Brian, thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. Most certainly, access to lawyers and court proceedings will limit the number of divorces. However, this was consistent with the 2008-2009 financial crisis. There was a decline in divorce then as well. So while that could be a contributing factor, it couldn't account for that 11% drop.
I got a couple things to say. A couple things. Number one, Gary. Wow. First he says, I love you, Jannelle. And then after that, at the end, was like, oh, and hi, Brian. And then he said, no, watch, we got to read it. Oh, Gary, you're amazing. Oh, this is awesome. He says, lose is past tense. Concentrate on the present. That was your fan. Thank you, Gary. We know who you really love. Number one. True. Number two, Miss Anita said, admittedly speaking, that essential oils question was harder. You know what it is? That is hard. That Ron sat back and he said, let's give, she can handle hard questions. And then he thought of you and was like, let's give him an easy one so we won't throw him off. That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's
part of it. He thought asking a homeschool mom
about essential oils.
Who told you?
The easiest possible question he could ask you.
Who told you about this connection with homeschool moms and essential oils? Really?
It's this weird thing that I've heard of. It's called common sense.
Guess what? I am unique at its finest. I am not a general concept like homeschool mom. I am like, whoa, she's different. Thank you. So I don't fall into your stereotypes of homeschool mom.
Yeah.
We should do that to our kids today. What was it? Did you already touch on? Wow, guys, I'm so sorry. We're super.
Okay, so
people are probably turning down their volumes. Oh my gosh.
It's the county buildings thing.
Yeah, can you mention that? Because we talked about maybe the lower rates in divorce are explained by people can't get access to their lawyers and the county. But you explained it. That's something you would say because you're nice and cynical.
Yeah, again, I think that could be partially contributing to this, but not completely. Not completely, because remember we saw a precipitous drop in the number of people reporting that their marriage is in trouble, which is not a divorce indicator, the current state. And so we're definitely seeing a trend here that can't just simply be blamed on access to lawyers and court proceedings.
Yeah, we also have Jennifer who says many therapists are offering telehealth services. So there's not the excuse of like we can't seek help during this time.
Video and audio just froze.
Oh no.
I need to send Kelly 5-second questions in support of Team Brian. He don't need that. They're asking him questions like 3 things in church. Thank you, Team Brian people. I know what y'all doing. Danielle says, Jannelle, this is so funny because you're down in Brian's face on the computer. I'm sorry. Yo, Brian, we getting mad loud. What's up, YouTube people? We want to see what you got to say. Be like Danielle and say something. What do you think about the divorce rates in the United States has been lower than ever in the past 50 years. This year, 2020. Very surprising. Why do you think? Brian, as we've been acting very immature, our awesome people have gone on actually talking like adults. And they're saying things like, yet in the 70s, it was shame to get a divorce and looked down on, where now it's an everyday thing. Jennifer says divorce is expensive, so when there are financial struggles, people may be less likely to spend the funds. Wow, y'all are so negative. What do you think, Brian?
Wow, I want to be respectful to Dr. Jones. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh!
That's a point, though. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I think that could account for some of it, but again, we're seeing a drop in not just divorce rates, but in people reporting their marriage as troubled. And so I think we have to confront the idea that actually COVID could be in some ways good for marriage.
Yeah.
It has been good for marriage. Go ahead, Jannelle.
Miss
That's where
Anita
you started
says
when I
audio's fine, audio's fine now. Yes, I feel so lonely over here by myself. Oh, Danielle, I'll go be with you. Hold
I
on.
know.
I'll bring my
stopped.
coffee. I'll bring my
It's like
coffee.
I see you. Girl.
Don't be lonely.
we
You're
see you.
hanging with us. You made a good decision today. You joined Overtime.
Yes.
Now download our podcast, and then you can hang with us all day long. Is that just that? Did that come off okay, Brian?
Yeah.
For
Pretty
the
good
say that again.
Pretty good for a loser.
So can you explain other? Wow. Now we see what you focus on. I know in our marriage.
What? I want.
In our marriage, the slowing down of quarantine had an impact. But I know that's not been the case for everybody else.
Yeah, Kim mentioned that too. She said maybe lower divorce rates are due to having more family time together, which may be what was needed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian?
could be.
I agree.
I'm going to tell on you. Look at what you're doing. Look. You
What
just
am I
sit.
doing?
You're supposed to talk. You don't get paid for that. What do you think? You're like Mike or like Gary? You are not a spectator. Go ahead.
Oh, man. Viola brought up something. She said, like, could it possibly be because more people are just living together and not getting married? Because, you know,
Yeah.
could be.
Rob says, read the question again. I don't think during the show the issue was about divorce rates. I believe Brian mentioned a drop in troubled marriage. Look at Rob. He got your back. Kim says maybe lower divorce rates are due to having more family time. You read that.
Yeah.
Mike says more communication is always helpful and healing.
Yeah. I feel like communication, because of quarantine, people have been forced to actually communicate.
Yeah.
Like how do you sit in a room with somebody and just not talk?
Yeah.
Like you kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It's about, first of all, it's about time Rob had my back. We men got to stick together. But also, he's right. Dr. Wendy Wang indicated that of people who reported their marriage was in trouble, in 2019, that was at 40%, 40. This year, 29%.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So try to use your court analogies and your lawyer and your money business on that one. You can't.
Yeah.
It's just one of many indicators showing that COVID was likely good for marriage. It's interesting to analyze that concept.
Danielle says communication is everything. Jennifer says true. So those who actually get married may be more committed to marriage and not doing it because of social pressure. She was responding to Theola. I don't want to say that just because you're quarantined together, you're going to talk about the issues that matter.
Right.
I don't think just quarantining is going to get marriages in a healthy space. You don't think it takes more intention, people actually dealing with their issues, or do you think it's just like, oh, we don't talk about it because we're focused on the pandemic?
No, I think people are forced to do one of two things: ignore their problems or confront them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can actually avoid problems when you're not together very often, but when you're together more often, you have that choice: explicitly avoid them, or confront them.
But then, like you said, to respond to surveys and say my marriage isn't in trouble, I don't think you could do that and ignore your problem. Somebody know if what you're ignoring.
Yeah.
Robert says, "Oh, trust me, married people can sit in a room and not talk."
Oh yeah,
Oof.
that's the truth. Or be in a house, please. We find stuff to do. Do you do that? We used to do that. So dumb. Grown people playing the silent treatment, and I'm calling myself dumb because we did it. Do you guys do that?
I bet. Okay, so who does the silent treatment more often, you or Len?
Now, Len. In the past, both of us, I would definitely do it.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb. Like, but yeah, that was the thing we did. Because we don't yell at all. Like, we don't play that at each other. Notice that? We yell at the kids. But sometimes just because you don't see yelling or see conflict doesn't mean there's not trouble. And so like that's an example. Silent treatment is so dysfunctional and so destructive. Can be so destructive.
Yeah.
So you didn't answer the question. Why are you dancing around? Do you guys do silent treatment?
I am not dancing.
Do you do silent treatment?
I think we did that earlier in our marriage, but we don't do it that often, but it happens, sure.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that quarantine has made it easier to see your flaws in your marriage? Like, has it, like, brought up issues and then, like, I feel like it would show the dysfunction of a family
More.
I don't know. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jannelle.
Not. It depends what your issues are.
It's
Okay.
kind of like that essential oils question.
I was lost. Whatever. I said lavender. Lavender is good. We sometimes have done that, especially when we are on our devices. Yeah, Nathan.
Like phones. Yeah, you get sucked in.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Brian, it is 9:28.
Yeah.
I am done. No, this
You
is
guys are
good. Very,
working.
very encouraging, especially given to how 2020's been.
Yeah.
The fact that if you look at a chart, the divorce rates are lower than they were 50 years ago, and that the pattern and the trends are continuing to decline. That's encouraging. I know there are other more negative explanations, like maybe people can't get access to their lawyers, or maybe people are just not getting married. But the study also says younger couples are more committed. What are you laughing at? Go ahead.
I just got a text from my wife. She goes, "Wow, you gonna answer?"
Exactly. What is wrong? He's not talking.
Actually, guess who does the silent treatment more often?
Who?
Guess.
You? Wow, that's surprising because you are someone that's like, no, let's talk about it.
Sometimes.
Rebecca was wondering what a stereotype homeschooler is.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you asked. Stereotypes. So, for moms...
Let me give
Oh, go ahead. Yes, you would answer.
Yeah.
a woman who is willing to drive to Hudson, Ohio from Shaker Heights to buy a $5 a dozen eggs because they're free range or they're organic or whatever. She's crunchy. She makes her own granola and her own yogurt.
Yeah, you done?
And she doesn't really need medicine or doctors because she's got a whole bucket full of different kinds of essential oils and just rub oils on it.
True.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the stereotype homeschool mom. I know she wears the stereotype or wears long dresses.
It's like a
It's
Makes
very
her own.
quiet. Huh?
jean skirt,
Makes her own long dresses.
Makes her
skirt.
own dresses.
braids.
My kids have experienced the
Stereotype.
stereotype more, not anymore, but I got two high schoolers and they swim for a Shaker swim team. And in the beginning, the other kids who are students at the school were like surprised, like, what, you're homeschooled? I thought homeschoolers were like antisocial and like weird. So that's one thing. A lot of people think homeschoolers are like afraid of society or don't want to talk to people or
Yeah.
are just hidden away in corners. And it's the complete opposite. Most homeschoolers I know are like out there, very engaged,
Yep.
lots of volunteer work, whatever. But there are definitely stereotypes, and essential oils is one of them, my brother.
Gary.
And
Gary
Gary's
asked.
got one
Yeah.
more 5-second real question for
Yeah.
us.
Are you ready for it, Jannelle?
Yep.
He says, name 3 ingredients in Jannelle's yogurt.
Blueberry, strawberry, and milk. Hey, what? What's in my?
You sat there for 3
I
seconds.
Oh.
You totally paused.
Whatever. Oh, I didn't know we were playing for real. Okay.
right.
Goodbye, my people. Gary says Brian has the best sense of humor. Goodbye, Brian. I mean, Gary.